everybody. Welcome to the Healthy Joints, Healthy Lifestyle. This is the first show of 2026. So happy New Year, everybody. Over the holidays, though, a number of our members of our group, we have a Got Gout Support Group on Facebook, have been asking a series of questions, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk to you guys about the questions that people have because, this tends to happen among a lot of people with gout. These are just some people who voiced these questions. And so here we go. We have 6 questions. Let's get to number one. So, question one was from a woman who has a 17-year-old son who's having severe flares involving the ankles that has lingering pain when he stands. Is this normal? So, issue here is that her 17-year-old son had gout, was treated, but still has ongoing pain and stiffness, and she's wondering, is it still ongoing gout? The pain has gone from like a 10 to a 2. Is it still ongoing gout, or do we have something else? So my response is that this is completely understandable because you kind of feel like, okay, we know that gout tends to be intermittent. You have an attack, it comes down. You have an attack, it comes down. But yes, if the attack has been severe, though, it is possible that you can have residual inflammation. And so maybe it's not completely resolved. And it may take a while for that last bit of inflammation to completely resolve. So what do we recommend? Staying hydrated, gentle movement, avoid standing too long on the sore joints will be helpful. But if the pain continues and you really don't feel that that inflammation is resolving for your son, it may be time to talk to the doctor. Maybe a short course of anti-inflammatories or PT may be helpful. But definitely you want to kind of have that conversation with the doctor because, my favorite peeve is that people who have gout to some extent may have some kidney disease, and so using anti-inflammatory medications could make that situation worse. So I always kind of caution, talk to your doctor before starting anti-inflammatory medications. It's also possible that the inflammation has been on those tendons and ligaments for so long that things have gotten stiff from all that inflammation. So PT definitely, I think, is a good option that makes sense. Okay, next question, guys. So, next question was, I had my first attack. Oh, and I've been on colchicine for 2 days. Now I have diarrhea. Should I stop? Good question. So, most common side effect of colchicine is diarrhea. And so, in way back when we didn't have a lot of options for gout, they would say take X number of pills of colchicine till you have diarrhea, then back off. Well, we typically don't give that much colchicine at a go now. Usually it's 1 or 2 a day. And for some people that are very sensitive, colchicine causing diarrhea could limit their ability to use colchicine. I tell my patients use colchicine either one a day, one every other day, one every 2 or 3 days. When you have an acute attack, though, old school way was I would kind of increase your colchicine. If a patient can tolerate it, fantastic. If not, then we do have to kind of think of other options. So his question is, he's been on colchicine for 2 days and now he has diarrhea. I guess it depends on how bad the diarrhea is. But you could maybe skip a day and try another one, or maybe try one every day and see how you feel. Maybe that's lowering from a 2 a day to 1 a day. But talk to your doctor because there's some instances when maybe you don't want to double up on colchicine. And so people who are on cholesterol lowering medications like statins, statins, they may have to be cautious with how much colchicine they're taking. And of course, if the diarrhea is just causing you a lot of dehydration, remember when you're having a gout attack, we want you to be well hydrated. So if you have so much diarrhea that's causing you dehydration, then that again is not optimal. So my recommendations, talk to your doctor. There may be an alternative, or your doctor may have a plan to maybe use lower doses of colchicine, because not only is colchicine helpful to treat the attack, it's very helpful to prevent future attacks. Okay. Next question. Person says that I've been on allopurinol for years and I had a recent flare. Should I stop it or keep taking it during the flare? Okay, good question. So people with gout have too much uric acid in their system. And when they have too much uric acid in the system, then it can clog up the joints. It can get into the joints and crystallize. And that's what people have when they have this gout attack. So allopurinol is a very common medicine used to treat gout. And the way it treats gout is really more to prevent the formation of uric acid. So where does uric acid come from? It comes from breakdown of protein. So you have proteins, which can come from either your muscle mass or even from food, or even genetically, how your body processes. Remember, we are protein, our muscles are protein. So your body has to process that and turn that over. So as the body processes that, it eventually forms uric acid crystals, which is normal. But for some people, genetically determined, they just don't excrete out as much uric acid as it could, or their body their kidneys hold on to this uric acid. It's actually a gene that's been identified, SCL family of genes that have been identified that actually make the kidneys hold on to uric acid instead of letting it go into the urine. How helpful. Okay. So anyway, so allopurinol basically blocks the formation of uric acid. So just as the purines are being broken down, they're called xanthine oxidase inhibitors. So they break down all the way to xanthine. Xanthine is a byproduct of protein which you can get rid of easily in the urine and does not form crystals. But without allopurinol, it forms uric acid, and then uric acid clogs up the joints, the kidneys, tendons, ligaments, and causes all kinds of havoc. So back to this question. I've been on allopurinol for years and I had a recent flare. So that's common. People are on allopurinol for years because it helps to prevent uric acid formation. And then this person had an attack. So he's like, should I stop it? Ideally, we want you to continue taking the allopurinol. Otherwise, your uric acid just goes crazy up and down. So what we would like is that, yes, you use allopurinol to stop making uric acid, fantastic, and then we treat the attack. So the attack can be treated with colchicine, with steroids, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, not my favorite, but it's an option depending on your situation, or even a medication called Alaris. So a number of options to treat the acute attack, and once the acute attack resolves, then we're back to using allopurinol to prevent any uric acid formation. Next question. Okay, I have a gout flare in my thumb and my ankle. Is it normal or could it be something else? Hi there. Okay, yes. Having gout in the ankle joint does happen now. The most common joint is the first toe where people have attacks of gout, which is where uric acid forms in the joints. Okay. Now, but having it in your thumb is not that common unless you've had uric acid gout for a long period of time. Now, the other thing that could happen in your thumb could be something that looks like gout called pseudo gout. So your doctor would definitely want to get some x-rays just to make sure we're not missing a different kind of crystal arthritis. So in pseudo gout, you have calcium getting deposited in the joints. Meanwhile, in gout, you have uric acid getting deposited in the joint. So my big concern would be, can you get gout in your thumb and ankle? Yes, for sure. Is it normal? It can happen, but because it's happening in your thumb, I would definitely want us to check on calcium crystals just to make sure we're not having an issue with pseudo gout. Next question. I have diabetes and my uric acid levels are normal, but I still get attacks. I can eat and I eat healthy and avoid alcohol. Why is this happening? Well, hey, I'm sorry that you're going through this. Gout can be really frustrating, especially when it doesn't seem to follow the rules. So even though you've been doing a healthy lifestyle, you have normal uric acid levels, flares can still occur. So people with diabetes, kidney functions can sometimes be affected, and it can cause that uric acid levels to rise and make you more likely, and it can cause fluctuations rather in your uric acid, and it can cause that to get deposited in your joints. So pain in the Achilles tendon is not uncommon, and even though you're getting attacks, colchicine can provide some relief. If it doesn't, your doctor may talk to you about injections of steroids. Now, when you have diabetes, we're always concerned about the effects of steroids. So your doctor is going to have to talk to you about how to manage that. They may need to put you on something to manage your blood sugars, because steroids that we use to treat gout attacks can cause elevation in blood sugars. So your doctor just has to kind of walk that fine line as they treat you. So I hope this attack passes soon and that it brings you some lasting comfort. And then the final question is, I stopped taking allopurinol about year after years because I improved my lifestyle and I lost weight. Is it safe to stop? This is such a common question. Now, I have had one patient in plus years who we actually stopped his allopurinol. It's because he did have a very high BMI. Was about 150 pounds overweight. He joined this 60-60 program, and he did, gradually lost weight over time. There was half of his size, and eventually we're actually able to get his uric acid levels down. So that is a very dramatic case because he was a pretty much a new person, right? Because he lost half of his body mass. So that means that even the protein, even the rate at which he moves protein, muscle mass, the rate at which his cells were turning over is totally different when he was 150 pounds lighter compared to when he was 150 pounds heavier. That is the one time I have seen that we were able to stop allopurinol. Of course, there are people who are like they have some kidney issues, maybe it's temporary. They were able to stop to use allopurinol and then stop it. But most of the time, it's actually genetically mediated. So yes, we get your uric acid level. Our goal is to get that uric acid less than 6. Fantastic. If we can get less than 6, then we need to be on some kind of maintenance medicine. Otherwise, the uric acid just creeps back up. And that uric acid creeping up means that it's going into your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, your kidneys, and causing damage or attacks of gout. So, rule of thumb, even when you're on allopurinol and your uric acid level is less than 6, your doctor can titrate, can lower your allopurinol dose. Let's say you're on a high dose, lower your allopurinol dose. That's fine, but it's unlikely that we're going to be able to get you off that medicine, whether it's allopurinol or uric, that is stopping your body from making any more uric acid because it tends to be in most people genetically mediated. Now, because there are people who have there's certain cancers that the cells are like leukemias where their cells are breaking down and it's forming a lot of uric acid, and sometimes they're on allopurinol temporarily. That's a different situation. But when you just kind of have run-of-the-mill gout, most likely genetically mediated, it's unlikely that we're going to be able to stop the allopurinol because once we do, your body just does what it wants to do. Uric acid level climbs back up. It may take a while. So a lot of people say, oh, I controlled everything with diet. I didn't. But are you checking your uric acid level? If you're checking your uric acid level, you're off the medicine and your uric acid level sits down below 6, thumbs up, I'm all for it. But if you stop your allopurinol, you kind of have to monitor your uric acid levels just to make sure they were not accumulating, because you can accumulate uric acid in joints and it can be very quiet. It's called intercritical gout. Like when it's quiet. And then 5 years later, you're like, I don't know what happened. It must have been the beer I drank yesterday and I got this attack. No, it is because quietly and silently, uric acid has been accumulating in the joints and it kindly got to a critical mass where you now had an attack 5 years later. So checking your uric acid will be important to make sure that that is not happening. So thank you for posting these questions on our Got Gout group. It's a support group for people dealing with gout. Back to this is the first show in 2026. I'm so excited for the content that we have. There is so much going on in the world right now, whether it's research, whether it's women and estrogen. We're going to have doctors. Actually, I'm going to interview someone tomorrow. It'll be posted. Who are going to talk about all the things that we can make sure that you have a healthy and happy 2026. Wishing you guys all the best. Thank you so much for listening to our show. We have over 10,000 subscribers. We love you. We appreciate you. Post comments and looking forward to working with you. Bye. If you like this video or you think you know anybody who's going to benefit from this, like this, subscribe to the channel and share it. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 2026. Take care, everybody. Bye.